Bride kicked me out of the wedding because my dress looks white on my skin. My husband is furious, and now the groom called everything off. Tonight, I was supposed to be the maid of honor at a wedding. My husband was the best man, and we've been friends with this couple for a long time. But now, I'm being kicked out because I'm black, and my husband wants to step down as best man because of it, which is causing a whole scene. To clarify, the bride is not racist, she's just not smart enough to understand the situation. My skin color is the issue, not because she has a problem with it, but because she didn't realize my skin would make the dress look different on me than on others. She has had this vision for her wedding forever. The bridesmaids' dresses are nearly identical to her wedding dress in style, except for a different color. My dress as the maid of honor is an exact replica of hers, just in another color. Here's where things get messy. She picked this color the company calls morning gray for her bridesmaids' dresses. Morning gray is a soft pastel gray, almost a shade off-white. On the other bridesmaids, the dress looks gray, very soft, ethereal gray, but gray nonetheless. All the other bridesmaids are white. I'm not. Not only am I black, but I've also gotten darker from spending time at the beach for another wedding this year. Against my skin, the dress undeniably looks white. The only way you can tell mine is gray is if I'm standing right next to the bride, and the dresses are side by side, then you can see mine is slightly gray and hers isn't. The bride ordered all of the dresses and picked the color herself. I tried to tell her she should order mine in a darker shade of gray because I've been accused of wearing white at a wedding before due to a dress looking white in sunlight, even though it wasn't. She insisted that her cousin tried it on and the color was perfect, and you could easily tell it was gray. I explained to her that her cousin is as pale as printer paper and it would look different on me, but she was unwilling to modify her vision. Now she's mad at me because even though it's clear, hanging with the other dresses, mine is the same color as the other bridesmaids. She decided the only option was to kick me out of the wedding so I wouldn't upstage her. She also wanted me to give my dress to one of the other bridesmaids, which I said I was fine with as soon as she reimbursed me the money for it. $350 compared to the $125 the other bridesmaids paid. But then one of the bridesmaids pointed out none of them could even wear my dress. I'm not huge, but I'm incredibly top heavy. I wear a 34H bra, which is part of why my dress was more expensive than the others, along with the extra detailing. So none of the other bridesmaids could keep my dress up even if the lacing was pulled as tight as possible. Now she's decided I have ruined her perfect wedding, screamed at me, and told me that not only am I not in the wedding, but she doesn't even want me to attend as a guest. This pissed off my husband because he was warned. I even sent her photos of a dress I wore that was almost the same color to a different wedding, and because he doesn't want to attend a wedding we traveled for without me. He thinks it's unfair since she insisted on the dress color. Update: after I posted, things got ugly, and the groom called everything off. I initially offered to dye the dress since I was the only person not getting my hair done. My hair has been damaged more than once by stylists who don't know how to handle the texture, so I am very limited in who I will let do it and usually do it myself. The groom thought this was a great idea and even offered to pay for the dye and let me use his parents' place to do it. But while he went to talk to his parents, my now ex-friend nixed that idea because I would stand out even more. I asked what she meant by stand out even more, and a whole lot of truth came out. Apparently, she initially hadn't wanted me in the wedding at all, but her ex-fiancé is one of my oldest and best friends, and my husband was, note the past tense, one of hers. That's why we introduced them in the first place, because we thought they would hit it off, and they did. Anyway, because my husband was the closest thing she has to a sibling, she really wanted him to be the man of honor at their wedding, and initially, the groom said that was fine, and he would just have me as the best woman so things would look balanced, and two men didn't have to walk down the aisle. She really didn't like that, so they decided to switch us up. No big deal. Except it was, because I'm the only person of color in the whole wedding party and one of the very few who would be at the wedding at all, and I'm going to stand out in every single picture. I asked her what about the groom's parents. The groom is white, but he's adopted by a black couple and is quite close to both his biological and adoptive parents. But if you ask who his parents are, he always says the people who raised him. Her theory was that his biological parents would be in the pictures, not his adoptive parents. When the groom came back and heard this, he flipped out. Then she said the dumbest thing she could have said: it's not his fault, he had no control over who adopted him, and the pictures should just be real family. At that point, the groom had heard enough and told her that they were his real family, and he couldn't believe she would say that. She was not the person he thought she was, and he was not marrying her. She got pissed and told him he was being ridiculous, but his parents could be in some of the photos, and they would take some without them. He told her again that he was in no way, shape, manner, or form marrying her after what he heard, and, in fact, he wanted nothing to do with her. She got upset and said she was at least going to have fun at the reception. He reminded her that he and his parents paid for everything, including the reception, and she was not welcome, and he would inform security of that fact. The bride ran off to tell her parents what he was saying and doing, so they came out guns blazing to confront him, but apparently, she didn't give them all the facts. When he laid it out for them, they were appalled. Her father literally tore her a new one, talking about how she was not raised that way and he couldn't believe this was the person she had become. They apologized to the groom, offered to pay for half of the wedding, and left with their daughter. We spent the afternoon with the groom, several of the bridesmaids, and all of the groomsmen, who were equally shocked by her behavior. I'd say we were consoling the groom, but we weren't. He was too busy ranting about dodging a bullet. Last night, we went to the reception, partied until like 3 a.m., and had a great time. As for the dress, I have an event later this summer, and I'm going to dye the dress and wear it for that.